Welcome back to another video. We'll be looking into some dark secrets and celebrity conspiracies that somehow feel like they should not be on the internet. I don't know if I'm even allowed to post this, but hey, let's see. That being said, let's get right into it.
Congress officially mandated that by 2027, every single new car has to have cameras that watch your eyes, and your car can literally decide if you're allowed to drive or not. So this is not a bill and it is not a proposal. It was actually already signed into law back in 2021. Every single new car sold in America by 2027 has to have infrared cameras on your steering column.
Every vehicle manufacturer is going to have a kill switch in it. The car itself will monitor your driving. And if the car thinks that you're not doing a good job driving, it will disable itself.
They're saying that these cameras would not only just track your eye movement, but also your pupil size and your head position the entire time you're driving. If the camera decides that you're impaired, it can prevent the car from starting, or it can slow you down mid-drive. Hello? The agency that's in charge of this entire thing just told Congress that the technology isn't even ready yet because there has been so many mistakes. Even at 99.9% accuracy of this software, millions of sober drivers would be locked out of their own car every single year. Your car could literally shut you out of it because of sunlight or because you looked away for 1 second. So that's the problem. There is no federal opt-out, and Congress is literally fighting about it right now to decide whether or not they're gonna keep it or end it. So the question really is, do you guys want this to be a thing or no?
No, why would anyone want that? That'd be insane.
This video shows rare footage of Russian forces in Western Africa firing unguided rockets at an Al-Qaeda-affiliated militant group yesterday. This occurred in Mali and was taken from an Mi-8 helicopter piloted by Russian African Corps. They're reportedly firing S-8 rockets here at a militant group known as JNIM.
When did mosquitoes start looking like this, bruh? Look at this shit. This joint look like something off a sci-fi movie. That joint look like an animatronic. Tell me I'm tripping. Y'all ever seen a mosquito looking like this?
That's a mutated mosquito.
Look at the legs, bruh.
They're mutating.
That joint look like the little joint at the car wash. The little spin brush. That joint look souped up. That joint look like it got an upgrade. That joint purple, blue, black. Look at the damn antlers. And then the fact that this man letting it suck his blood is crazy to me. You don't know what this joint got. You don't know where this joint came from. If that joint landed on me, I'm instantly taking off my shirt, boy. That joint coming smooth off. I'm telling you. It just got you thinking like, this shit ain't normal, fool. It ain't normal to my eyes. If it's normal to your eyes, let me know if you've seen it before. It's just like the tick situation. How many ticks I've been seeing? That shit ain't normal to my eyes.
She removed her fingers, including the finger that had his name tattooed on it, and she's missing an eye. The autopsy report for 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez has officially confirmed her cause of death, and the details are disturbing. According to the medical examiner, her death was ruled a homicide caused by sharp force injuries to the torso, meaning she was stabbed. The report states she suffered 2 penetrating wounds, one that entered her abdomen and pierced her liver, and another that went into her chest, passing between her ribs and causing significant internal damage. Both injuries impacted vital areas. The autopsy notes that her remains were severely decomposed, with parts of her body partially skeletonized. It also states that one of her eyes was missing at the time of examination. The report goes on to describe additional injuries, including marks on her right hand, and it confirms that 2 fingers on her left hand were amputated, although it's unclear when that occurred. Now it's worth noting that Celeste did have a tattoo on her left ring finger that had the name David on there. That's the one that got amputated. However, the matching tattoo that she has with David on her right finger is still intact. Toxicology results were mixed. There was a presumptive positive for substances like methamphetamine and MDMA, but follow-up testing was inconsistent, with some results coming back inconclusive or not detecting those substances at all. The report also mentioned possible alcohol in her system, but confirmed that none of those substances contributed to her death. Overall, the autopsy makes it clear that her death was the result of intentional fatal stab wounds. However, the key is proven that David was the one who caused them. As a reminder, his preliminary hearing is tomorrow. Cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, but I will let you guys know any significant updates that come out.
This guy's absolutely sick. amputated a finger and took an eye.
Most people have no idea that in 2027, this is happening. A car in 2027 might not just be taking you from point A to point B. It might be literally watching you the whole time. We're talking about cameras tracking your eyes, your face, and your attention the entire time you're in the car. A camera that's built into the car. Y'all already know how they spinning it. They're playing this as safety. Here's the question nobody's asking. Who decides if you're okay to drive? You or the system? This new wave of monitoring the driver, this is designed to tell if you're drowsy, if you're distracted, or if you're impaired. And that system decides if you are any one of them. If the system feels that you're any one of the three that I just said, it can stop the car from doing certain things, or it can stop the car altogether. Y'all gotta think about that shit. You hopping in your car, and it's something in your car, a system that can tell you what they think you are before you even step on the gas. Technology doesn't move backwards, y'all. It just gets more control over time. I need y'all to pay attention. This is crazy. So I gotta ask y'all the question. What do y'all really think is going on? Do y'all think this is about safety? Let me know down below in the comments.
It's not about safety. You just want control.
Kim Jong-un is now praising his soldiers for ending themselves. During a speech this week, he confirmed that a long-suspected and pretty disturbing North Korean battlefield policy is real. You see, if you're a North Korean soldier and are captured, it isn't just seen as defeat. It is considered actual treason. In fact, your family at home can be punished for this, which is why you are expected to sacrifice yourself rather than become a prisoner of war. While referring to soldiers that recently died in battle fighting for Russia against Ukraine, he said, quote, "Those who hastily opted for self-blasting, suicide attack, grenades, in order to defend the great honor are heroes." This is the definition of the height of loyalty to our army. In fact, it's at the point where some North Korean soldiers who were captured alive reportedly said they regret not blowing themselves up.
Wow. Wow, blowing yourself up.
Is she crazy, or was she failed by the police? Should I Marry a Murderer is one of the most interesting Netflix documentaries I've seen in a while. People are really split on this documentary. Some people think that she was basically unstable and made a ton of bad decisions, and other people think that she was completely failed by the police and the system. So on one hand, yeah, her behavior is kind of all over the place. She keeps going back to this guy after finding out he's dangerous, after finding out he's a murderer, and she's filming literally everything constantly on Snapchat using cute little filters, and she's not really reading the room in any of these situations. Like, she's posting a lot of weird stuff. She's making a lot of decisions that are really impulsive or really naive from the outside. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, she's unhinged, she brought this upon herself. But the other side is that she was a key witness in a murder case and was basically left to handle this incredibly dangerous situation on her own. She kept trying to go to the police for help, and instead of being properly protected or supported, she was just kind of told to keep cooperating while she was trying to stay safe from people who knew she had reported them. Like, she was the reason these guys got arrested for murder. And she was there hanging out with them, and they knew where she was living. So her mental state did start to fall apart when she was stuck in this impossible situation. So I think the real debate is, was she acting irrationally because she's just a chaotic person? Or was she acting like someone who was scared, under pressure, and not supported for a really long time? That's why I think the documentary kind of shows both at once. Let me know your thoughts, though. Also, hi, I'm Grace. Can I be your horror girly?
Did you guys hear what Health Canada just approved for public or human consumption? And apparently there's rumors that this is coming to the US as well, if it isn't already there. It's a bit shady, as you can imagine. So get this. Genetically modified pigs have officially been deemed safe to eat by Health Canada. Canadian and UK companies applied to bring products made from a virus-resistant pigs to market. So officially, it's about making sure that these pigs are no longer, so that they're resistant to some type of ailment, okay, that's floating around. But my thing is this. Isn't it that if you have a healthy pig on pasture, Like, this is only a problem because of factory farming. Like, they're only having to GMO pigs because of the conditions that they're raised in. Whereas if it was like, you know, all outside pasture, fresh air, freaking yummy food, healthiness, they're not really getting too sick. It's when they're jammed, slammed into a freaking barn with no windows. That's the problem. But I am very hesitant to, you know, safe. Like, who says it's safe? The company that makes it? You know what I'm trying to go more organic. I'm choosing to see a future that we have everything is organic. There's no chemicals. It's like a utopia. I have this strange belief that humans are capable of actually making a very healthy and good food supply and water supply and air. But seemingly there is a bit of an angle to make sure that something else is going on. Apparently these GMO pigs are already permitted for food use in the US, Brazil, Colombia, and the Dominican Republic. Dang, man. I wonder if they'll try that in Haiti. Do you remember what happened in Haiti after the one storm there? Monsanto dropped off 60,000 bags of GMO seeds and all the farmers burnt it in the streets, the seed bags. Was that crazy or what? So let me know your thoughts. Are you going to eat a GMO pig?
No.
And do you think it's safe? Or are you wondering if, who knows what's going on in those DNA strands, man? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more. Now, if you made it this far, I should say that there's a whole lot more I'm going to be posting, but I do want to mention that right now Chalk is giving away free bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia. This is the Chalk Lit Powder. Super detoxing, freaking delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit or the ashwagandha, you're getting some of the most potent superfoods in the natural world. I'm talking fertility, brain function, hormones, energy levels, cognition, and your pineal gland. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
Why is Travis? Oh, no, that's water. Oh my God. Hold on. It's coming out. Whoa, lights are out. We gotta.
Stay calm, stay calm.
Oh, bro, this streamer Humble Zay was attempting to walk from Philly to California until he was hit by a car randomly while he was walking on the street. Bro, if he wasn't wearing this back brace, this dude would probably not be here right now. Like, this video is low-key insane.
Yes. That's it.
Now, gratefully, he ended up being taken to the hospital after all this, and the police were nicely enough to help him with his cart and like bring the remainders back to the police station or like the hospital. I think the most craziest part is if you were to tell anybody you were walking from Philly to California on the highway, they'd probably tell you this is gonna happen, but for it to actually happen is crazy. God bless this dude, and like gratefully he's okay and like he's here still, because this could have honestly ended so much more worse.
This guy's very brave. Very brave.
Oh, holy fuck, chat. Wow. Here are the other two AI videos from Trump's correspondence dinner that you guys have been talking about in the comments. Watch this.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no. Yeah, to the no. To the no, no, no. Listen.
What?
Since we're speaking about things that we can't quite explain in the ocean, let's talk about the blue whale. We know that the blue whale's heart can weigh, 400 pounds? Their tongue weighs as much as an elephant, okay? 100 feet long, 300,000 pounds. Largest animal, like on land or in the ocean. Largest. I've covered that, right? We know that there's the 52 hertz whale. Like there's apparently 3 different other kinds of whales that we've never seen with our own eyes. So we don't even know how big they are, but we do know that the blue whale is the biggest so far. Why am I just now finding out that apparently, and I have not fact checked this. I hope that I do fact check it and it becomes, and it's actually wrong. But apparently they put a GoPro on the whale, the blue whale, and something bit it in half. What pray tell is that? What was that? I don't know, guys. I just think that I'm done with ocean facts. Yeah. Some are like, girl, marry. I actually blocked a girl yesterday. I was like, marry the ocean at this point. That's all you talk about. First of all, it's the only thing that TikTok will allow me to talk about without taking. And you know what? Here you go. removed. Integrity and I don't even know why they removed it. This is the only thing TikTok will let me talk about without taking my videos down. And also everyone loves it. They keep on asking me, you guys keep on asking me for more and more videos, so I am delivering. Some of y'all are just never satisfied. But anyway, as always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below for more tidbits of information that you didn't ask for.
Did you hear that all the grizzly bears on Antarctica woke up early this year, and scientists are in a tizzy because they don't know what caused it. Usually they would be hibernationating all the way into early June in Antarctica because, as you know, there's a bunch of snow down there, but for some reason they woke up last week and all of them. And this one you can see trekking through deep snow that it's not used to, headed towards the mountain peak of the tallest mountain in Antarctica. And one of the leading scientists, Dr. Remy Demi, said this is behavioral we've never seen, and we don't know why it's headed to the peak. And so they're working to get the bottom of it and find out some answers, and so I'll keep you updated. But I'm curious if you have any theories as to why you think they're waking up early this year.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Do you guys see the duck above in this optical illusioner, or do you just see the rabbit? So apparently 98% of the global populancers, they see a rabbit facing this way, and they can also see a duck facing this way. But 2% of people can only see the rabbit. When they try to see the duck this way, they can't see it. I can see the beakage of the duck very clearly right there. But the reason why, if you can't see the duck, you can't, is because you have something called a high zone coordination stone in your iris, more specifically in the DNA sequencing and how the protein fiber strands are aligned with the cone refraction. And so it makes you super unique. And what's weird is scientists have been able to tie this genetic mutationer with also a personality trait. These 2% of people that can only see the rabbit are also the type of persons that are super loyal. Like those around them are like, you're super kind, you're super loyal. And again, they don't know how to connect the two, but they've just found a high correlation. And so if you can only see the rabbit, let us know. If you see both, let me know as well.
And this is another reason why, before you book that cruise, always know the destination and how safe they really are. And why do I say that? Because there are pirates. Yes, you heard what I said. Modern day pirates floating around in ships, very similar to what Jack Sparrow battled. Have a look at this crazy video for yourself. Have a look at this right here for yourself. These people on this boat are being chased by pirates. In real time, modern day pirates. And like I said, for those of you that feel comfortable and safe on cruise ships, these are not the same pirates that you've seen in the movies. These pirates right here track ships down. They jump on ships. And in most cases, they've even hijacked ships. Think about the U.S. cargo ship that was hijacked, and they took the captain as a captor. And these pirates are also known for carrying weapons and also kidnapping individuals as well. Think about the scenario again of being on that cruise ship. You're relaxing, enjoying yourself, having a couple, maybe. And these pirates take over that cruise ship. They board. Who's going to help you? Who's coming for you? The Coast Guard? When you're deep in the middle of nowhere? Think about that. So think about this the next time you're planning that cruise or going out on a ship in the middle of the ocean. Think about it. Do a little research. Is the area prone and known to have pirate activity? And always Keep your guard up, never down. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Dallas has experiencing some crazy weather recently. Some people have been capturing crazy alien lightning, and I actually did in one of my recent videos, and this is all due to a Goyslop hailstorm that's going to be happening tonight. It will be covering the whole Fort Worth, Dallas area to Denton. This is going to be insane. Big balls of hail. 2 to 6 inches of hail balls. This is going to be a severe hazard to people and pedestrians and cars. If you have parking garages, put your cars in parking garages because this is going to be insane. All the homeless people that are out on the streets, this is kind of a conspiracy with the government, like trying to get rid of the homeless people that are out in the streets, and they're making all these planes. If you've been hearing a lot of helicopters in Dallas, then this is why. Because they are planning a hailstorm in the middle of summer, starting the summer. So just be careful out there.
This is the bead that protects you from all online curses. So spread it because you might need them soon. So right now, a lot of supposedly cursed videos are being spread and sent to people online. Now people are doing this to kind of curse their ops or their friends as a joke. Because of these curses, people have started using this video of a bee playing violin to ward off all negative energy. According to the lore, the music of the bee actually has protective qualities. And if you actually see the bee playing the violin, you're supposedly protected from all cursed videos.
This woman survived falling 14,500 feet out of the sky because she landed on a fire ant hill.
A fire ant hill?
Yes. In 1999, this skydiver named Joanne Murray went on a routine skydive that she would always do all the time. Jumping out of planes is something that she always did. However, on this day, she's trying to deploy her main parachute.
It's not deploying.
Something happens where it messed up and her main parachute didn't want to go up. She's 14,500 feet in the air.
No way.
Within seconds, she's immediately crashing into the floor. She ends up landing on this huge fire ant hill.
What?
And she lands onto it.
Survives.
She falls and she breaks damn near almost every bone in her body, right?
Yeah.
Immediately, all the fire ants in the hill start to swarm her, and they all start biting her like crazy, which then makes her adrenaline go crazy, and it kept her alive.
Wow.
Long enough for
paramedics,
everything to come in and get her.
Are you kidding me?
I swear,
bro. No. You gotta understand the level of Looney Tune logic.
It did say she ended up surviving falling 14,500 feet out of the air.
That's insanity, bro. And let alone falling on an anthill, bro.
Imagine the luck that you have to have.
Bro, I was just gonna say, bro, anybody out there that's skydiving, if your parachute doesn't deploy, look for an anthill, bro.
Aim for an anthill.
What is up, true crimers, and welcome back. So a man has been arrested right after being released from jail for allegedly stealing a fire truck. So what in the world? Why? So Richmond Johnson from Colorado was rearrested after the theft. According to reports, it went down like this. Johnson had been released from jail on the early hours of April 28th for a trespassing charge. And approximately 9 minutes later, the local fire department responded to a call which was non-related to Johnson. However, they left their truck parked to the side while they responded to the call in the lobby. However, Johnson proceeded to jump into the truck and drive away for reasons unknown. I mean, if he needed a ride, he could have just told someone, but yeah. According to police, they tried to pull Johnson over. However, he refused and led them on an intense chase. They then used stop sticks to eventually get the tires to deflate, thus capturing Johnson yet again. What a stupid thing to do if you were literally just released from jail minutes ago. I don't know. People are weird these days.
Let's talk about David. Did you see what happened with him? So he was in court, and then the court judge says, we've discovered 40 terabytes of on your phone.
Bro.
Fam, I'm gonna put you in perspective. If you download the Titanic, there's a 3-hour movie. I saw a fact. It was 20K.
6 hours of
20K downloads of the Titanic is how much he has.
That's a lot.
so much.
Oh my.
He's just that sick. I don't know if you guys saw the new autopsy. The ring finger of Celeste. The one that said David. That's literally the one that said David was chopped off. Yeah, because that was proof that she was with him. So he had to cut it off. Crazy. Oh my god. But I don't know if you guys know this, but he outed himself. How? Not on his main account, but his second burner account. What? What do you mean? It's called Extra David.
Today, I'm going to be talking about sin and God's forgiveness. I do not understand what I do because I do what I don't want to do and I hate what I do. The evil that I don't want to do, this I keep on doing. Personally, for me, I used to struggle a lot with lying. Lying is the easiest sin to commit. When you come into Christ, you have to continue to accept what you're doing is wrong, and then there comes repentance. After that is turning around and not continuing to dwell in that sin.
Breaking, shocking news, guys. Bees suffering dementia due to metal pollution, aluminum, and this contamination may be behind the insect's decline. Let me tell you something, guys. A world without bees means a world with a lot of problems. A world without bees means the grocery stores are going to look a lot different, guys. It's a massive reason why they've been poisoning the skies with aluminum, because they know that if they get rid of the bees, they get rid of a lot of the fucking food, and they just enslave us even more. If you're not aware of what's going on, then genuinely you need to wake the fuck up. Have a listen to this.
One of the first people to ever blow the whistle on what she says is absolutely happening, and that our own government has been involved for decades, spraying chemicals into the air with no regard for the people those chemicals could be hurting. I want to welcome in former U.S. Air Force environmental specialist and geoengineering whistleblower, Kristen Megan. It's great to have you back. Kristen, appreciate you being here. So you've been talking about this issue for years now. Can you take us through what you say is absolutely happening?
Yeah, thanks for having me back. This is absolutely happening, and it's basically now openly admitted, even though you're getting kind of pushback from the EPA, but I don't think it's intentional. What I discovered around starting in 2007, I was working in bioenvironmental engineering in the Air Force. And like I had mentioned previously, I tried to debunk this. And in the attempt to debunk it, I realized, as somebody who was approving forms called Air Force Form 3952s, I had to reject these toxicants on formerly known as an MSDS, now an SDS, because they're the very same toxicants we were trying to engineer out of the workplace. So why would we be procuring more? So lots of soil sampling, air sampling. Once I got threatened, I knew I'd found something, and it's very much happening. In fact, when I finished my master's...
Like she was saying, you test our soil, high in heavy metals. The bees, high in heavy metals. Us, high in heavy metals, mostly aluminum. That's what they're spraying, nanolyzed aluminum in the sky. When they spark the right frequencies with 5G and all that stuff, we're becoming microwaves, guys. This is why it's never been more important to detox these heavy metals. This is why I take Chalk's hot water purified Shilajit every single day. Supports in a healthy detox. Also mineralizes the body, so very important stuff. And I have incredible lifetime discounts for you guys, so comment the word info and check your DMs. Peace and love.
You thought this was just tomatoes, but flip the bottle over, because this label starts sounding nasty real fast. They put tomato concentrate first so you relax, then they bury it under a sticky red corn syrup flood. Want some diabetes with that? Second ingredient, high fructose corn syrup. Fourth ingredient, regular corn syrup. That's 2 corn syrups drowned in the tomatoes. You don't care though, right? Then comes distilled vinegar. That sharp, sour burn, that makes this stuff taste less like food and more like a chemical slime. And of course, natural flavor. That cute little phrase where they don't have to tell you what it actually is. Any guesses? 1 tablespoon is 20 calories, but nobody uses 1 tablespoon. You just drown your food in this stuff and call it normal. Barfola! Send this to someone who puts ketchup on everything because they're not eating tomatoes. They're eating corn syrup in a costume.
Okay, breaking news. Ticks, dude. What the Sam damn is going on? People are talking about farmers finding boxes of ticks in their fields. People are saying this is the worst year for ticks ever before. The Mason-Dixie line, which is usually where apparently ticks never used to cross. You would rarely find a tick in Ohio or Maine or Vermont or even Indiana. And now people are talking about they can't step foot outside their door for 5 minutes without a million ticks crawling all over them. Now, it's also totally unrelated that these ticks, some of them have something in them that when you get bit by them, you will become allergic to red meat. Now, I won't talk about where all the lime first started coming from, next to Plum Island, which definitely wasn't a headquarters for biological testing. But I mean, are we using logic and common sense? They would never do that. They already did. The problem is the guys who were doing the testing on insects and putting things in them that can spread things, they, I guess, thought that would be used for like foreign kind of enemies. So they were justified in thinking like, oh, this is going to help, not knowing it may be used on their own citizens. Another angle to this could be that they want people scared to go outside and be barefoot in the ground. By the way, there's a bird called a guinea fowl, which can eat like 2,000 to 3,000 ticks in a day. If we all got some guinea fowl and let them roam free, we could wipe this out. Don't think that it's doomsday over here. Now, in the meantime, we do know this is the tip of the iceberg. If you thought, the files were crazy, wait until you find out what they're doing with the food, air, and water supply. And that's a separate issue from the freaking ticks. So if you think it's important to be detoxing and boosting your brain function and your hormones and your fertility, right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the Chalk lid powder, which is super detoxifying and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, you're getting some of the most powerful adaptogens in the natural world. Comment the word free below and check your DMs for details.
Guys, did King Charles just allude to Jeffrey Epstein during his speech before Congress? Rep. Ro Khanna said the British ambassador told him that the king would speak about Epstein in his speech today. But the speech just wrapped, and while Charles didn't directly mention Epstein, he did reference the UK and United States' collective strength to support the victims of some of the ills that so tragically exist in both our societies today. Do you think he's talking about Epstein's survivors there? I mean, even if so, it's obviously a very underwhelming statement, especially since he's declined to meet with any Epstein survivors during this visit because he's afraid of the, quote, legal ramifications. In case you don't remember, Charles' brother Andrew was one of Epstein's longtime friends, and he's accused of SAing underage women in the files and a lot of other disgusting stuff. And that's why he lost his title and was arrested a few months ago for suspicion of misconduct in public office because of how close he was to Epstein. And Charles did release a statement when his brother was arrested expressing his, quote, deepest concern about the matter, but again declined to comment further as the legal process played out. Maybe there's some validity in that, but it's just very disappointing for those of us who are trying to bring justice for Epstein's victims that someone in as much power as the King of England won't at least speak clearly and forcefully when even his own brother has blood on his hands. We here at Newsgirls have been amongst the loudest journalists exposing the atrocities in the Epstein files, and we will keep doing that, so follow to stay in the loop.
Texas mother has been arrested for digging up her child's grave because she just wanted to hold her baby one more time. When the Angelina County Sheriff's Office got the call that someone had disturbed a grave site, they then learned that this mother had given birth to this baby days earlier and the child did not survive. They arrested her and plastered her image all over the internet, causing local news outlets to pick up this story and question everything that is going on here. And on the sheriff's office Facebook page discussing that whenever they went to this mom's house and spoke to her about her baby's gravesite being tampered with, the baby and the baby's casket being missing, she admitted that she was the one who did it and showed them exactly where her child and her child's casket were. Her own family explaining that she had not been right since losing the child, not knowing of any inpatient facilities they could bring her to. What happens when something like this happens? Well, in Texas, apparently they arrest the mom and charge her with a felony. This mother receiving charges like abuse of a corpse. If you've ever lost a child or know someone who has, this isn't a cry for help. This is a scream for help. But instead of helping this mother get the help she needs, they put her in jail.
Bro, what are you Nigerians putting in your jollof rice? Because this 21-year-old guy from a small village in northern Nigeria has just been drafted into the NFL without ever actually playing a game of American football. And yet, the Philadelphia Eagles used one of their 7th round picks on him for one single reason. Bro is an athletic freak of nature.
He's almost 6'5". Look at how he's put together. I mean, I say he looks like a Greek god.
Not only is Uwar Bernard described as a physical specimen standing at 6'4" and weighing 306 pounds, while only at 6% body fat, meaning bro is just entirely muscle, but also the numbers he's been getting in training drills are unheard of
for someone his size. What makes it crazier is that Bernard's actual sporting background is in basketball and the real version of football, meaning he's basically starting from scratch at the top level. Someone tells me he's gonna be okay. So the question is, who can hook me up with some of that jollof rice?
Bulldog noodles don't read like food. They read like a chemistry set with a fan base and a warning label. Ready to eat? Ha ha! And yes, it says halal. Respect. But that clean little stamp is sitting next to a laboratory confession. You don't care though, right? Wheat flour, modified starch, palm oil. Before the sauce even hits it, this brick is already processed ambition. Then come the carbonates and phosphates. Because apparently normal seasoning names were too comforting. Your guts will despise you. Artificial chicken flavor sauce is crazy work. The chicken showed up as a rumor in liquid form. Still want some? Pepper extracts, MSG, and flavor boosters. This stuff is basically pepper spray noodles with a marketing team. Help it burn! 530 calories, 1,280 milligrams of sodium, halal stamp, warning label, and dust fire noodles. Bulldog covered every angle. Ha ha ha!
Oh, this photo taken in a cemetery in North Carolina is actually insane. It was around Halloween and the woman was posing for a photo. It was her and her niece in the background. They took several photos during this visit and the niece kept talking to people that weren't there. When they reviewed their photos to put on social media, they saw that there was a person in the background that wasn't in the cemetery at the time. What looks like a woman in white with a black veil is standing behind this woman. What's really creepy about this is part of her arm is missing, and it almost looks like the shirt she's wearing is tattered. And she's definitely wearing a veil. You can see the lace at the end of it. Now, they are in a graveyard taking pictures, so I'm wondering if maybe this woman is the owner of the grave that she's standing in front of. There's so many times I see these photos and I really want to know the background to it. Like, if this is the owner of the grave behind you, what happened? Because it almost looks like she's wearing wedding attire, but at the same time, it looks like the veil is black. So is it some sort of mourning attire? This is a really good capture, though. What do you guys think? Let me know.